Johny Hendricks is with us. We're at Extreme Couture. He's getting ready for his fight at WEC. A couple of things to hit on. Your last fight, I got to tell you, I hadn't seen you fight MMA in person, and I go out to the event, I'm watching, you're fighting this guy Haskins. I'm watching early on, and I hadn't even looked up a picture. Nice work on my part. I'm watching, and I'm like, all right, well, clearly I had you guys flipped around because of the way the first round went. You're sitting there throwing good strikes. You're getting taken down like a rag doll. I'm like, eventually this guy's just he'll get him to the ground and take care of him. That first round was a little weird.
Yeah, no, I went in there way too relaxed, thinking of another day in the gym, and that's what I was thinking of. And I went out there, really relaxed, calm, and the next thing I know, he bull rushed me. I was like, what's going on here? And he really took it to me the first round. And then my coach, Ron, he walks in there, and Mark's yelling at me already. And I'm like, Mark's like Coach Smith. He yelled at me all the time, wouldn't bother me. But Branch, if he got mad, you're doing something wrong, you know what I mean? And it really affected me, and I'd be like, okay, I got to listen to what he says. And that's the way Braun was. And I was like, oh, crap. And I was like, you know what? This guy, not going to happen this round. And I went out there, and I was just like, I got mad, pretty much. I was just like, you're not going to make me look like this. And whenever I got ready for the fight, it was pretty much over.
Well, I mean, to tell people, you didn't go back out and not wrestle him.
No.
I mean, you used your hands, which tells you that, that year of seclusion just on the striking end is working to a certain extent, because you look pretty smooth that night.
Yeah, no, that's what I want people to fear. You know what I mean? I'm a wrestler. What do they know I'm going to do? I'm going to take them down. I'm working with Mark Lehman. My jiu-jitsu is at the top of the game, right? I feel like my jiu-jitsu is there that can compete with almost anybody, And, but the boxing part, that's where you got to learn it in the cage and only in the cage. You can spar, you can get the feel for everything, but as soon as you put those 4-ounce gloves on, it's a totally different ball game. And I wanted the people to fear that. That's, if I can make them fear my hands, then it opens up everything else.
Do you have a guy who's made the transition as a wrestler to MMA, who's a top-level guy, maybe one of the UFC guys who you admire and go, you know what, I would like to have the package like that because look at how good his hands are now?
Well, I've watched Randy a lot, and every fight he was on since he was at OSU, I always watched him. I always ordered his pay-per-view fights, and I really watched how he fought. He set up his hands really well to his takedowns. And now that I've been out here and I've seen him train, and I see what he does, that's what I try to incorporate in my training as well, because he came from the same thing that I did, everything the same, and that's really who I've been trying to mimic the whole time.
Yeah. What'd you think of Jake's performance? Rough going last time out because he makes a step up to UFC. He's slated to fight a guy who's really exclusively a stand-up guy in Sakara. Then all of a sudden he's put in there with one of the Miller brothers who have a lot of IFL experience and are well-rounded. That was kind of a rough break.
Yeah, just like that, Jake took the fight to him. He went out there, he started imposing his will. Got caught in a scramble and just got caught, and that's the way it goes. Sometimes the better man doesn't always walk out with his hand raised. And but can you learn from that and make yourself better? Yes, and I think that's what he's done. And I think you won't see him get caught like that ever again.
So tell us about the current crop of guys who are kind of coming out, say, from the last 5 or 6 years of collegiate wrestling, who, aside from yourself, aside from Jake, who could kind of explode onto the scene. We were talking before the interview, and we've actually done a couple of stories on this guy because he was an Olympian. Ben Askren is one of the guys. We know about Mo Lawal, is a little bit older, but he was an Olympic-level type guy. So who are some of the guys we should look for, and especially Askren, because you guys never got to wrestle against each other. You're both Big 12 guys. You were close in weight, but you never got to face off.
Yeah, no, I was 165, he was 170. We were both comfortable at our weights, and we both knew that we were set where we needed to be, and so we never got that chance to compete. I think that he can do good, I think any wrestler can do good at this sport. You just got to get that will and desire to get hit on the chin and say, I'm coming back, whenever I hit you, it's going to be way worse, and that's it. And, Mo Lawal, I actually roomed with him one year, and so I like to see that. I like to see him coming up really well.
Look at his hands already.
Oh yeah, no, he had good hands in college too. I think he did some boxing in high school and stuff, and now his hands are just getting even better and better, and he's got that reach, and he's very gifted. God blessed him with a lot of athletic ability.
Are we starting to see guys in college not only concentrate on wrestling, but start to talk about mixed martial arts and actually do a little boxing here and there, or is it one of those things where most of them are going to wait, have to concentrate on the wrestling, and then eventually become well-rounded after they're done?
Well, you know, it's really hard. If you want to be dedicated, if you want to be an NCAA champ in wrestling, you got to focus all your time on that. You don't sit there and go, well, I want to do boxing, I want to do MMA, and think you're going to be an NCAA champion. You know, that just doesn't happen. You gotta focus and dedicate all your time into that. And once you're done with that, then it's the best time. I would say high school, you know, because it's not as demanding. You know, work on your hands, do those kind of things. Then go to college for 5 years. Get that mental edge that you'll have over a lot of guys, just because, you know, week in, week out, you're hurt. You gotta train. You know, you gotta wrestle. You gotta push through all these pains, and it transfers very well over to this.
So what do you expect in this fight?
You know, I really don't have any expectations. This fight, I'm really excited for. I'm just going to go in there wherever the fight takes me. You know, my last fight, I want to do all stand-up. This fight, I want to get in and out. You know, I'm gonna go on our feet. If it stays on our feet, it stays on our feet. If I take him down, or if he takes me down, we'll play the jiu-jitsu game. I'm not scared where this fight goes.
Are you a fan of the sport? Like, do you know? Are you aware of the main event with Brown and Garcia going at it?
Yeah, no, I watch every time it's on. I record it.
Yeah.
I watch everybody because I'm young at this sport. I've only had 4 fights. You know, I'm fighting guys that are like this guy. He had 16 fights. You know, and that's not counting how many he had amateur.
Right.
So I'm very young and very green. So I try to learn from other people's mistakes. So every fight I see, I'm like, well, okay, this is what he did wrong. Okay, I'll try not to do that. You know, and this is what he did right. Okay, that's what I'm going to try to do. You know, and try to incorporate any fight that I see into my game.
So what do you think of the main event? Striker against, you know, classic wrestler. Brown, pretty well-rounded. Actually, Garcia's pretty well-rounded, too.
Yeah, no, I think that's going to be an excellent fight. It's going to be, it's just hard to get anything done, you know. Wrestling, you know, if you're a wrestler, you got good jiu-jitsu because it comes natural.
Mm-hmm.
And the striking part, you know, I'm not really sure who to give that to, you know what I mean?
Leonard's been pretty impressive so far in his 2 fights.
Yes, he has. And that's where it all, you know, that's where it all plays out to. Can he get that one punch in and you know what I mean? And you saw it this weekend, Josh Crosscheck against a jiu-jitsu guy that doesn't have that good of hands.
Yep.
You know, boom, one punch. You know what I mean? Are you going to go in there and take him down and use your strengths against his strengths, you know? And that's where it all plays out. I don't know his strategy.
There you go, Johny Hendricks. Good luck.